Good morning and welcome. Y'all got so quiet on me. That's okay. Talk. That's all right. We're here enjoying each other's company. Welcome to Unity of Kalamazoo. My name is Brent Decker. I'm the music director. We've got John Moody on bass, Carolyn Keeble on drums, and our song leader today is Barb Galati. Come on up, Barb. And back in the booths, taking care of sound and media, we've got Jared and Brian. Thanks, guys. Just a wonderful team here. So we're going to start with our music this morning, our congregational songs, I Am Alive with the Spirit of God, and I Am So Blessed. Why don't you stand and sing with us? Thanks.
Good morning, I'm Joe Daly, your platform person for today. Thank you, music team, and all the other wonderful people that helped put this on today. PowerPoint, streaming video, audio, our ushers, and hospitality and script, which are upstairs. And now would be a good time to invite your phone into the silence. If there are any visitors here for the first time, we welcome you. This is a yellow card. This yellow card will be in the pew back in front of you. If you fill it out and give it to an usher, they will have a small gift for you and welcome you to our church. The flowers today were generously donated from the memorial service, or the celebration of life, I should say, of Adrian Eichard. Adrian was a charter member of the church, served on the board, and was a 55 plus 60-year member of the Unity prayer group, and a lifelong seeker on the spiritual path. I am personally grateful to Adrian for her role in this congregation, because she is in no small part one of the reasons why we are here today. So a few announcements. June 4th is Pride, and the Doodah Parade. Is Beth here? No. Okay, so Beth is coordinating, and the idea is to find a place to congregate at the Doodah Parade, which starts at 11, and then proceed to the Pride Festival. Unity has a table there, and we're looking for people to fill a few slots and spread the message for us. Karen Boatwright. No. There you are. Could you raise your hand, Karen? Karen is coordinating the golf outing and has started a Facebook group, which is a mode of communication for it. And so see Karen if you are interested. A generous anonymous donor has gifted us with new chairs for the prayer room, Classroom A. And the old chairs need a new home. They're stackable and in pretty good shape, and they're in the hallway, and you can just take them. You don't have to check with anybody, just a freebie. Saturday, July 9th, Reverend Greg Coles will be here for the next step in our visioning process. And looking at and coming up together with who we are as a congregation. And the Unity Church Picnic returns on August 21st this summer. So come join us for church community, fun, and relaxation and food. Please join me in our mission statement. As an all-inclusive community, we awaken to spirit, grow into our soul, and build a better world. We celebrate a world of ever-awakening consciousness, abundance, peace, and love for all, and our core values: love, authenticity, stewardship, oneness, and playfulness. Our speaker today is Reverend Judy Pilot, and her talk will be Facts, Feelings, and the Choices We Make. Thanks for being with us today, Judy. And first, Barb is going to lead us in singing I Am So Blessed.
So blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
Thank you, Barbara. And before we do the daily word, let's just take a moment to just let that soak right into our hearts, deep into our souls. Feel that from the tip of your head all the way out through the end of your fingertips. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. And we are. We are blessed and highly favored. The daily word for today is forgive. Unforgiveness is a heavy bag of rocks that I carry on my shoulders. And when I drop the bag and begin to set those rocks aside one by one, I embark upon a healing journey. God is with and within me on this journey as my constant support and strength. When forgiveness feels difficult, I need only return my attention to Spirit's constant, loving, and accepting presence within me. Reestablishing my conscious connection brings warm and welcoming acceptance. It is an important step in the unburdening process of forgiveness. I forgive others as well as myself, knowing each act of forgiveness increases my freedom to live a happy and fulfilling life. And from Colossians chapter 3, verse 13, bear with one another. If anyone has a complaint against another, forgive each other, just as the Lord has forgiven you. So you also must forgive. And our affirmation for today is, I begin my journey of forgiveness. I'll say that once more and then invite you to join me the third time through. I begin my journey of forgiveness. Together, I begin my journey of forgiveness. And so I invite you to simply relax as we move into this time of prayer and meditation, to relax and get comfortable in your seat. And I invite you to close your outer eyes if it is comfortable for you to do that. And to simply begin the process of following your breath in and out as the means of quieting your mind, and calming your body, and allowing yourself to move deeply into that inner heart space, the place where Spirit dwells, and the place that we know always that we are blessed. And so as you follow your breathing in and out and quiet your mind, I invite you to consider the importance of forgiveness. Because whatever it is holding, whatever we are holding on to, it is our burden and ours alone. No one else bears that heaviness. That sadness. No one else is drained by holding on. And it's not always easy to do. But we have to give ourselves a break. I read once that we never have to ask for God's forgiveness because God never judges us. We are the ones who judge ourselves. We are the ones who judge other people. And that is what sparks this burden that we begin to carry when we focus on that which separates us. And so there are some steps that we can take in this forgiveness process. And the very first step is simply to be willing to be willing. To simply entertain the thought of letting go of that story. Letting go of those words that hurt us. Blessing and releasing that person who hurt us or disappointed us. And so we can simply entertain the thought of letting that go. We can be willing to be willing. We can also affirm that we are whole and loved and perfect with or without that person, with or without that story. And we can deny that that situation has any power over us. If we are willing to be willing, we have at least opened our minds and hearts to the possibility of writing a different ending to that story. And we know that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So as we go into a time of meditation, I invite you to consider, are you willing to be willing? Might you be willing to deny that the story holds any power over you? Might you be willing to take a single step? Can you entertain the possibility of writing a new ending to the story? I invite you to take those questions into a time of quiet meditation and into a time of silence as we simply consider the possibility of letting go and forgiving ourselves for holding on. invite you to gently return your attention and your thoughts to this place. And I want to return to our affirmation for today, which says, I begin my journey of forgiveness. And I invite you to commit to be willing to take at least one step on that journey of forgiveness. To begin to let go, to release, and more importantly, to forgive yourself for holding on. Amen, and so it is. Amen, and so we let it be. Well, good morning again. Do you bring up the next slide that's got my, there we go, that's the one. So before I get started, I want to take a moment to extend my thanks and appreciation to the Board of Trustees for arranging to have our regional representative, Greg Coles, here with us last weekend to facilitate the genogram workshop last Sunday, and also to lead us through the healing circle last Sunday after the service. We are very, very blessed to have Greg as our go-to person here in the Great Lakes region, and the information and the tools that he shared with us are very beneficial during this time of transition. I participated in some of these sessions before, excuse me. I participated in some of these sessions before, and I've actually been through some of the training that they offer to our transition consultants. And Greg has an exceptional understanding of the work, and he is a very, very skilled facilitator. I also wanted to extend my thanks and appreciation, especially to all of you who participated. It was a long day on Saturday, and it was an intense time for us together in the healing circle on Sunday. But it's important work, and we need to understand the importance of the work. And we need the tools, because these are not things that come naturally to us. There's a lot of things that come naturally to us, which often get us into a fix. But it's important to understand that we don't have to stay there, and that we can, in fact, learn how to walk ourselves back out of some of those situations that come quite naturally to us. So, human beings are meaning-making machines. Our brains are constantly processing sensory data and sensory input, dismissing some, analyzing the rest, comparing, contrasting, deciding, implementing. It's just part of the survival mechanism and the wiring that exists in our brains. We grab the data, we look at it, we make some decisions about it, and we act. So we're programmed to judge. So telling yourself not to make judgments is like telling yourself not to breathe. It's just not helpful, and it's just never gonna happen, okay? So toss that idea, okay? It's what we do with the information, it's what we do about the judgments that we make that really is most important to us. And that's where a lot of these tools then come into play. So, we're meaning-making machines. I make my life mean what it means to me. You make your life mean what it means to you. We all make life mean what it means. Because we take those facts that come into us, we interpret them. Oh, and oh, by the way, we have feelings about them, and then we make some choices. I was talking with Beth during one of our breaks last weekend, and I confessed to her that one of the most difficult lessons I was faced with as a minister was understanding that for some people, and probably for all of us in some situations, feelings are facts. And that's really hard for me. On the Myers-Briggs, and I have come a long way in time, but on the Myers-Briggs, I was the poster child for ESTJ. Sensory, thinking, judging, okay? Always looking, what's the precedent? How did we do this before? Really kind of just stuck on what is. And those touchy-feely people on the other side of the scale, oh my God. Thank God I was smart enough to deal with them. But truly, people used to come and have a conversation about something going on at the church or something going on in their life. And it was clear that the particular facts of the situation were somewhat present. But mostly it was all of their feelings about that situation that was causing them all of this angst and pain. So it's not surprising to me anymore that we see things differently, we experience things differently, and we attach different meanings to what are seemingly common experiences. And my talk title for today is Facts, Feelings, and the Choices That We Make, because we do make choices about them. They don't run us. They happen, yes. We judge, we interpret, we feel, we respond. Those things happen. We can't stop that. But the choices we make around them, now that's where we have some power. So I have a short video that I want to share with you this morning, and I think it will illustrate for us how, again, we can all have relatively the same experience and yet come away with some very different ideas about it. So, JP?
The monkey business illusion. Count how many times the players wearing white pass the ball. The correct answer is 16 passes. Did you spot the gorilla? For people who haven't seen or heard about a video like this before, about half missed the gorilla. If you knew about the gorilla, you probably saw it. But did you notice the curtain changing color or the player on the black team leaving the game? Let's rewind and watch it again. Here comes the gorilla, and there goes a player, and the curtain is changing from red to gold. When you're looking for a gorilla, you often miss other unexpected events. And that's the monkey business illusion. Learn more about this illusion and the original gorilla experiment at theinvisiblegorilla.com. The monkey business.
Monkey business, right? That's one way to think about it. But we all experienced exactly the same thing. And clearly, there were some differences in terms of what we came away with, right? Okay. How many of you have seen that before? Oh, okay, good. All right. So hopefully that helped to make the point. So let's start a little bit thinking about some facts. And JP, if you'd go ahead and bring up the next slide. So here we are. I said, "Good morning." She looked right at me. She didn't respond. So this is one of those situations where there's kind of like, there's a conference going on, okay? And so some of the sponsors and the organizers and the vendors and suppliers, you know, they have some booths and people are milling around, and there's some keynote speakers and there's some breakout sessions. So I'm coming to this conference and I'm walking through and I see a colleague of mine. I say, "Good morning." She looks at me. She doesn't respond. Now, what possible explanations might exist for that? Maybe she didn't hear me. Lord knows I've had that problem. Okay. She might have been focusing on the person that she was speaking with and trying to maintain that level of engagement there. She might have heard me say good morning, but then she didn't know who I was saying good morning to, because clearly there's a whole bunch of people around, right? Maybe she kind of made a mental note to herself, "Well, I'll catch up with her later. We're going to be here all day." Okay? So, those are the facts. Two days later, now that I've had an opportunity to think about it a little bit, I'm talking to another person about this whole event, right? So, you know me, right? I'm always cheerful and happy. So I said, "Good morning." She looked right past me. She never even acknowledged my presence. Can you believe it? She is so rude. Now, I know I'm the only person who does this, right? But isn't it amazing how 2 days' time has caused this story to really amplify, you know, and grow feet and legs, you know, and hairy aspects, you know? This is now something big, you know? It's a big deal, you know? I got to tell my other friend about this, you know, because I'm sure she'll have something to say about it. So we take a basic set of facts, and then we add some feelings. Okay, and now we have stuff. All right? Now, being good Unity people, you know, we're all trying to deal with our stuff. You know, we're all trying to be responsible for our stuff, okay? So, in this particular situation, what we've created is a drama triangle, okay? Because I made myself the victim in that situation, and because she didn't say hello to me, she was the persecutor, clearly, and now my friend who I'm talking to is my rescuer. She's going to take my side, clearly, you know, and support me in this whole thing, right? So that's our human stuff and human process. But again, as good Unity people, we try to deal with our stuff, don't we? Yeah, most of the time. Okay. What's next, JP? Some tools that you can use. Now, I know we've seen this one before from Lao Tzu, okay? Dorothy, this is the one you said you put on your refrigerator after my talk back in November, right? But let's go ahead, let's say that out loud together, okay? Watch your thoughts. They become your words. Watch your words. They become your actions. Watch your actions. They become your habits. Watch your habits. They become your character. Watch your character. It becomes your destiny. Yeah. So we know this, right? We know this, and we try to live up to this. We try really, really hard all the time. What else you got, JP? This one. Let's read this one together. Before you speak, let your words pass through 3 gates. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Actually, I think this is the one that Dorothy put on her refrigerator. I was wrong about that. So how many of us are really just pretty good to go with 2 out of 3? Yeah, we're still batting 500 at least, right? 2 out of 3? We know. We know how we're supposed to do this. And yet, we are meaning-making machines. And we can't help it. We can't stop it. We're going to judge regardless of all of the tools that we have in our toolkit, because that's what we do. So the tool that we need in our toolkit is the one that can help us get out of the stuff, get out of the fix, get out of the mix, get out of the whatever when we make those judgments and seem to get stuck. When we take that fact or 2 or 3 and turn it into a full-blown drama triangle. And that's what we had an opportunity to talk about last weekend, is the tools that we can use to get over the places where we get stuck. And this is not for the faint of heart. This is not easy work to do. But it is the work that we need to do. And if we're willing to be willing, if we're willing to take that bag of rocks that we're dragging around with us and set it down and begin to take some out and maybe leave them behind, well, then it gets a little easier. It gets a little happier. And it gets a little freer. So many of you are familiar with the work of Byron Katie. You know, she always challenges us. She says, who would you be without your story? Right? Challenges us to give up those stories. And she asks these incredibly simple questions like, is there any other possible explanation for why your friend didn't say anything back to you? Anything at all that you can think of? Other than she's rude? Okay, so here's what she said. She says, placing the blame or judgment on someone else leaves you powerless to change your experience. Okay? When it's their fault, you're stuck. You can't do anything about it. All you can do is forgive. But taking responsibility for your beliefs and judgments gives you the power to change them. Rewrite the ending. Change how the story ends. Turn it into a new story. Right? So this is something else we learned about last week. It's called the empowerment triangle. And it's still a triangle because we're always going to do this. We triangulate, we talk to other people about other people. I think sometimes if we couldn't do that, would be in the silence all day. But with the empowerment triangle, I now become the creator of what happens to me. I become the creator of my experience. Somebody challenges me. I said good morning. She didn't respond. But if I'm starting to get some stuff going on in my head about that 2 days later, that I want to talk to somebody else and say, she is so rude. What is that bringing up for me? What experience am I creating for myself when I allow that to get in there and fester? What's going on with me? What is that about? Is that about my favorite teacher who ignored me when I was in 4th grade? And I still haven't gotten over that? I don't know, and I don't mean to diminish the experiences that we have, but until we're willing to grab them and look at them and take responsibility for them, as long as it's somebody else's fault, we can't do anything about it. So the coach then kind of would challenge me a bit. The coach would be like Byron Katie, who says, I said good morning and she looked right past me. Really? Do you think maybe she just didn't hear you? Do you think maybe she was just engaged in a conversation, right? So instead of piling on the evidence, and Your Honor, I remember 3 weeks ago I said good morning to her and she didn't say anything to me either. Boy, she's awful. Is it true? Is it true? Is there any other possible explanation? So we have a choice. There are facts, and we have our feelings about them. Can't stop that. But we can choose drama, or we can choose empowerment. And this is what we were talking about last weekend. This is the tool that we now have in our toolkit. And let me show you how this works. So, instead of me going and talking to Karen about the fact that Barbara didn't say good morning to me, I could have a conversation with Barbara, couldn't I? And I could say, hey, when I noticed that you didn't say good morning to me, I felt ignored. I judged you to be rude and uncaring. What I really needed was to feel welcome. In the future, I will look for other opportunities for us to connect. Now, again, that's not quite as dramatic, but you know what? That's coming from a place of love. That's coming from a place of what we have in common, not what separates us. And if we can figure out ways to recognize those walls that we're throwing up, those separations that we're throwing up, those judgments that we have grabbed onto and now added to our bag of rocks, when we can recognize that we're doing that, we have an opportunity to take responsibility for that choice that we've made and write a different ending. So in closing, I would just like to have us read this and affirm this together. We've taken some really important steps. There are more. So we invite you to be in conversation about this, to think about these tools, to use these tools, and to continue to keep all of this top of mind as we continue to go through this process of transition and do our work. So together, placing the blame or judgment on someone else leaves me powerless to change my experience. Taking responsibility for my beliefs and judgments gives me the power to change them. I've asked you a number of times over the past months, but once again, I'll leave you with this thought. What are you doing with the power that you have? God bless you and have an amazing week.
Yeah, you would think they'd come out easier, but they don't. Good morning, I'm Paul Markey. I am a member of your board of trustees. Thank you, Reverend Judy. Once again, a wonderful message. Thank you for circling back for those of us who were here last week and extending that learning was wonderful. And for those who weren't, I'm sure that it also spoke to them. Wonderful message. Thank you. Please join me in our board affirmation for the month. I have the power to create my world. We have the power to create our world. And as the ushers come forward, please take out your tithes and love offerings. And I want to pause for just a moment before we get into the offertory prayer. Often I find myself, these prayers become somewhat rote. And I think many of us experience that. So I just want to step through this offertory prayer with you a little bit slower. To me, it's also a prayer of prosperity. So just with me, I'm going to walk through it one time and then ask everybody to say the prayer together again. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I give. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I receive. And together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you.
As the ushers come forward, let us pray. Sweet, sweet Spirit, we receive these offerings in loving gratitude. We are grateful for our blessings and send even greater blessings upon those who gave so generously today and in many other ways. May these offerings go forth and circulate throughout our world, bringing peace and prosperity to all. Amen. As we bring our service to a close, please join me in the prayer for protection. If you'd rise. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Yay, God! And now let's join together in
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God
specials today, John.